Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is your host, King Geo. Oh my God, this camera looks bad. Well, excuse the image for the camera. This is the first time that I use my laptop in YouTube, and this looks horrible. Let me see if I clean this. Even cleaning it, it's still. I'll use my other one. I have the next one. Well, I can even use my phone, but I'm not gonna go to my phone anyway. Wait. Today we're gonna talk about the hiatal hernia, and before I go and do that, let me turn this off for a minute. Before I start talking about the hiatal hernia, I want you to know that this video is being sponsored by Chicky Boom Art. And Chicky Boom Art, they do crafts. They do tumblers, they do cups, they do party boxes, they do party shirts, they do all bags. Hey Jackie, how you doing? So so if you ever have a party and you want to get something done, just shirt, a hat like this one, you see? This was done by Chicky Boom Art and stuff like that. You hit the link below. There's going to be a link at the end of this. And it's going to let you know. You go in there and you just get what you want. It's all personalized. And what we don't have, you can always say, hey, can you do this for me? And you send us the pictures. We'll give you an email. You can send the picture and we'll do it for you. So without any further ado, or if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and that will let you know when I, King Geo, upload a video. So we're talking about hiatal hernias today. Um, my wife just got her hiatal hernia operated on April the 19th. And it has been a long, tedious process. Not from the operation itself, but the journey that we took from getting from point A to point Z, which was the end point of the final decision that she made to get her hiatal hernia done. So we didn't know that she had a hiatal hernia until maybe I would say a year ago. But through the years, she'd been getting symptoms. Everything she ate, she regurgitated most of the time, and she couldn't keep her food down. And we had to get different kinds of like Tums, Marmazepam, and all that kind of stuff. Then we've gone to GIs, and the GIs give you the regular PPI and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, she's doing good. Thank you, Jackie. And the PPIs and stuff like that. But it gets to a point that they it gets too much. So the symptoms that she was getting at first it was the swallowing. She was having trouble swallowing, and she thought she was gasping for air. Then she started getting back pains, and we did all that. Back in New York, when we went to New York, we did when she was going to do her back in 2017 when she was going to do the gastric GI, the surgery for the stomach. Um, when they did the endoscopy, that's when they found out that she had a small hernia. Um, but it protruded so much that I got to the point that I had to get it operated. So she was going through these systems. She just couldn't keep her food down, and it would be like she would have like 3, 4 great days, and then she like 2 or 3 bad days where she was regurgitating her food. Um, and that's how and it just progressed from there. And then when we moved here to North Carolina. Um, we went to a GI, and the GI just kept giving us just medication. And just for all you guys to know, I hiatal hernia could be, I don't know if it's genetically or anything like that, but it can happen to anyone. That's when your stomach comes out of its place. So when it comes out of its place, your food's supposed to come down your esophagus, and then when your food comes down your esophagus, it reaches down. Your lower end sphincter opens up and lets the food in. Once the food's inside, it closes back up. So this way, when it closes, all that acid that's inside your stomach, your stomach has to your acid of your stomach kills or breaks down all that food. So then have you seen a volcano when the volcano erupts, stuff like that? But that's what happens sometimes. So this way, when the sphincter closes, the stomach, I mean the the acid doesn't come up. So so that's what happens. So as the sphincter opens and it stays open, so your stomach starts pulling out, right? There are times like if let's just say if it's like this small, and it's just coming out. There are times that you can take your fingers and you can go toward your stomach, like you can go like towards like right here, and you can pull it down yourself, or you do heel drops and your stomach goes down. But that's at the beginning of the hiatal hernia. Once it comes out to a point that nothing's going to happen, there's nothing you can do about that. You know, so we went to after going to the GI. We were in Puerto Rico, I would say, back in August of last year, and that was the worst because she ate one thing and that just destroyed her whole entire vacation. She didn't eat anything for 5 days. For four, she ate a little bit tiny piece of bread here, a little bit of rice, but then when she eat, it would hurt because what happens is that when your stomach is outside like this, right, that food cannot go inside. So when that food cannot go inside, what it does is this is your stomach, so it's hanging around your stomach until all that probably goes up and then goes back in, or you regurgitate it, and then what's outside that stomach comes back to the esophagus. That's why a lot of people have burnt esophagus because all the acid that's coming out of your stomach, it comes through your esophagus and it burns through all this. So that's acid that's coming through, and it burns. It burns. You regurgitate so much that it burns you inside, and then so that's how it was. And the pain, my wife would sit on the bed for hours because she would eat something, then she would sit in the bed like for an hour or two until it went down, and then she would eat again because you get that sensation that you don't want to eat. You're afraid to eat because you're afraid that something's going to happen. Um, a lot of people go to the ER because they're getting palpitation, and the palpitation comes from what I've known is from the anxiety that you get. Oh, this is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And you start getting palpitations in your heart. Then you go to the doctor. You go to the emergency room. The emergency room says there's nothing wrong with you. You're just having a panic attack. And it happens because you don't know what's going on, so you go into a panic mode. Um, so those are normals. Pains in the stomach here in the abdomen area is normal. Pains in your back is normal. When you regurgitate your food, everything that you eat and you're regurgitating most of it, that's when you have some form of, I would say, some form of a hernia. And so we focused ourselves on the hernia. We went to our first after the GI. Uh, our primary doctor sent us to a surgeon, and this surgeon was not that great. I mean, he's a surgeon, he's a gastroenterologist surgeon, but he was not that great. He said, we asked him, well, "Do you want to see the record for the G for the hiatal hernia?" He said no. So he was telling us that okay, he does a wrap, he does a 270 wrap, which is three-quarters of a wrap of three-quarters of a full wrap. And he doesn't wrap the whole entire thing. So what they're doing is that they're taking your esophagus and they're wrapping your esophagus around your stomach so that being that the sphincter, I guess, is not working, so your stomach does not come out anymore, or does your acid comes out anymore. Okay. As I did my research, I've seen some other doctors who perform that the fundal the fundal operation, but what they do is that they stretch out the esophagus more and they give more room to the stomach. Even doing a 360, they gave more room to the stomach so it can have its space. And some doctors, some doctors do it, and some doctors do a full wrap. Means to take the whole entire esophagus, they wrap it around. But in that case, you can't burp, you can't regurgitate. Um, that's just and you have to be very careful when you do that one because if you do it too tight, then you have to redo it again in a few years or in a few months. I've read of people who have gotten it this year or gotten it last year, and in the year they already gotten their hiatal hernia back again. Because you got to remember, my doctor said, or my wife's doctor said, that one of the greatest reasons is that why the hiatal hernia comes back is because people are forcing their bodies, and they're overexerting themselves. Like when you get up from bed and you have a hiatal hernia, or you just came from a hiatal hernia, You make sure that you get out of bed slowly because when you get up, if you get up fast, or even when you're getting up, you're putting strain in this area right here. You're putting strain in this area right here. So when you get up, you can feel it in your stomach. This area gets rough. So you have to be careful when you get up or when you get into your car, or if you're wheelchair bound, you get in your chair. You got to make sure that all these things that you do, you're not putting too much pressure on that spot right there, because when you go like this, and if you can feel it yourself and you take a deep breath or you push up, or when you right now, if I want like this, I'm doing this. I can feel the pressure here. So when I put pressure there, what that does, pushes up, and as it pushes it up, your stomach is going up. So that's what you don't want to do. So that's what my doctor says, that one of the main reasons that hiatal hernias come back is because of that. People are overexerting themselves. I don't think it has to do with anything with eating. I don't think it has to do with anything with that, because you want to eat. I mean, the doctors tell you eat. Make sure that you eat good proteins, and you do some exercise just so you can fortify that spot, that muscle. When you first get operated, you're told to walk a lot. So this way, this muscle right here can get strengthened. Can get its strength back. You want to exercise. My wife's doctor, an incision right here, because I will tell you what operation she got. She has an incision right here. So the doctor says, so when that incision hurts, you just massage it. So we're talking about the fundo wrap. So we're talking about the wrap. There's 360 is the whole wrap. And you have a 270, which is one 3/4 of a wrap, which is 270, and then it's half a wrap, and then there's no wrap. Um, and if there's no wrap, there's no fundo. So there are other operations that you can go to. You can get a links, but links is very some doctors don't like to do that. Um, 42. And there are different methods. Different countries do it differently, and you gotta understand. A lot of doctors have their own preference as far as doing a certain procedure. Okay, and then we went and we got a second opinion. And as I was doing my research, I found a thoracic doctor, and I saw a message of a thoracic, a message on a page that said thoracic doctors do hiatal hernia the best because we are a chest doctor and we can see from up above. And so, I was like, you know what, that's true. Has to do with this. So I told my primary doctor to set up to give my wife another referral for another GI. But we wanted a thoracic doctor, and we found one in the area that we live in, and then he came and he saw us, and I cannot say enough about this man. He was very thorough. He stood with us for an hour, explaining to us, because he wanted a 270 as a wrap. Um, he explained to us what was a 270. He explained to us. He just went down to detail, and we stood with him for an hour and 10 minutes, and he answered our question to the T. And then at the end, we was like, okay, this is what we want. My wife feels more comfortable was just a pull down. In other words, you take the stomach, you put it back in its place, in its normal place. You do the same thing with a fundo. The only difference with the fundo is just a wrap. And you take the stomach back, you put it back to its place, and you just sew it up, and you put a mesh. So he says, I don't recommend that much to a lot of people, but that's what you want, I'll give it to you. I don't do wraps to my elder patients. I just do a pull down. But if that's what you want, if you just want to pull down and no wrap, I'll do that. So that's what he did, and he explained to us about the mesh. A lot of people are scared about mesh, but I go, no, this is a biodegradable, just a bio mesh. It's biodegradable, and your body will absorb it within time, so you don't have to worry about that. And said, I'll pull down your stomach. I'm going to put your stomach that's going to be attached to your abdominal wall, because it has to hold on to something. So that's what he did. So he held up to the abdominal wall, and he said, so I'm going to do that, and then the following day I'm going to give you a swallow test. If you do that good in your swallow test, then you're good. You want to make sure that you don't get no reflux, because you don't have a fundo. So we want to make sure that nothing comes back up. So We said okay. He showed us the X-ray of. He showed the X-ray of to my wife. He showed us the X-ray, the MRI scan that they did in her stomach. In her stomach, and you saw her stomach was right behind her heart, and that's when my wife got decided to get the operation because it was right behind the heart. And he said, you know, our main concern is to pull back the stomach to where it is, which is true. That's the goal. But you also want, he said, but what I'm concerned about is that the stomach can flip and it can strangulate another organ, it's blood flow, and then you know it can then you're gonna get no blood supply to another part of the organ. It could be whatever he said, and that's my main concern that it flips around and it strangulates another organ. So that's what it is. So and he saw it, and you saw the heart here, and then you saw the stomach right behind it, and that's that's kind of scary. And that's why these thoracic doctors specialize in heart and in your arteries. That's their specialty. But there are others that do the others that do hiatal hernias like he does, and you have to go in there when you go to your doctor. You got to go in there with a lot of questions. We asked our doctor what was his um, success rate of how many of his patients has come back. He said only two of his patients, or three of his patients, has come back to get a repair. He said if in the near future if there is anything to be done that you need to repair or you need something to be done, just give us a call. We'll always be here. This is not the last time we're going to see each other. But he was very thorough, and we felt comfortable with that. And even after we left his office, we still did some more research. I did research on his background. He's a thoracic surgeon. He's a general surgeon. He does more operation. And we looked around to see, his patient, nothing on his patient, but he had good reviews. And came the day of the operation, he sits out, but he comes by and sees you, and he reassured us again. He says, "Mr. and Mrs. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to take away the fundo, so we're not going to do no fundo. We're going to take that down. We're just going to do the operation. It's going to last around 3 hours. We're just going to put your stomach down, and we'll see from that." And that's what happened. So we did the operation. The operation 3 hours later. They started at 9. It finished like around 12:20. He came down to me. He said, she did good. We're just going to find out, how it is. So when we went to the room, she was in a lot of pain. She was in a lot of pain. So the more they gave her a lot, she was morphed up like a ninja turtle. But she was, like she had a lot of morphine. But the pain was there. Normally they let you to stay there for a day and let you go, but she wanted to stay an extra day because the following day the pain was a little bit less severe, but she was still in pain. She wanted to make sure that she would be able to get out of bed. But the pain was excruciating. It really was. It was here, and then her shoulders didn't hurt because at that time, with the morphine, she didn't feel it. But when she got home, the shoulders hurt a lot. And then he told us that the reason that her shoulders hurt is because her disposition, because my wife is short, they had to take her arm and put it behind her back. So just imagine your arm behind your back for 3 hours. When you wake up, it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt for a long time because you had it in that position, in a non-movement position for such a long time. So it is going to hurt. Um, so after the operation, it was painful. I'm not going to lie. Um, Watching her there, cry, and a lot of thoughts go through your mind. This operation, was it worth it? This probably this wasn't for me. I regret it. Stuff like that because you're in pain. You're in pain. You're experiencing something new. And then the following day, was a little bit less painful. Then the second day we came home. She couldn't climb up to my bed because our bed is kind of tall. So we had to put a futon in the room, and that's where she slept there for a week. And then one day, because she has to climb to a stoop to climb into the bed, she just decided, let me go try this on her own, and she did it. So I applauded her, and I said, that's good, that you did it on your own. So um, the first week was soul food, right? So everything was through the blender and stuff like that. We ate a lot of vegetables. We ate what you call in Puerto Rico verduras, stuff like that, which is malanga, which is what she likes. I will put down the English version of what we ate or what she ate on the description, so you can see that too. While she was doing what before the operation, a lot of her when she was in pain, there was a lot of tea. She drank a lot of Mexican tea, and that took away the pain, or at least mentally it did. Um, and that helped her out a lot. My wife was regurgitating at one point every single day, and came to the point like maybe like 10 months ago she started regurgitating. And the doctor said, I bet you that this hiatal hernia has been there for like for over 10 years. It's probably could because when we started going out, at the beginning of our marriage, she was we got to New York. That's when she started throwing up. That was in 2016, and we've been together since 2010, I think, 2011. Yeah. So it started with that, and and the pain was just getting worse and worse and worse. And then she would lay down, and then you have to tell her to tap her on her back so her stomach, because she can feel some relief. You have to rub her back for some relief. But it was for her. She's next to me. She doesn't want to talk, but for her, it was very excruciating because she like I can't eat nothing right. I can't take this pain anymore. And when we was gonna do the gastric sleeve in New York, they did everything to her, and then she just at the last minute, like 3 hours before, she decided not to go through with it. The doctor called up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Are you guys ready? What's going on? You guys gonna do this? And she was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And she chickened out. And I thought this was going to happen this time. So I tested out. I tested her out. I said, listen, you don't have to go if you don't want to. I'm not gonna be mad. And she said, no, I'm gonna go. And she was afraid. I mean, that's a normal reaction. She was afraid, but she was more afraid when I asked her afterwards. I said, why did you finally decide to do this? She goes, I saw the CAT scan, and being that the hiatal hernia was behind my heart, that kind of scared me. Um, so that in itself was the tipping point of her decision to get this done. And like I said, first it was soft liquid food, and then the doctor she was operating on the 19th, and we had a phone meeting on the 28th. And he goes, how did everything go? She no reflux, no throwing up, no nothing. He goes, okay, now let her. She can eat um, anything that a fork can go through, but no raw eggs and no raw fish. So that's what we did. So she would eat her rice, she would eat her chicken, she beat it up, not fried. She would in a hot fryer and a dry fryer, and she don't use oil. Extra virgin olive oil she does use, but we don't fry our food here. Why least she does it for herself. Um, so now after the second week, now we're a month after that. She's eating more. She doesn't eat anything greasy. The only thing that she's eating, I would say, was heavy would be the Domino's pizza cheesy pasta, which is the Alfredo sauce or chicken Alfredo. She does that. Um, but nothing, if you was to eat a steak, you have to chop it up a little bit, chop it up to a point that you're going to swallow it, um, stuff like that. But the one of the goals here that when you do pass through your hiatal hernia, um, and you're eating, try to chew your food as much as you can so it can go down more smoother because you just recently just got operated, and you don't want to harm your throat, or you don't want to harm your stomach with the big pieces going down there because it's just got operated. Because the body's not meant to be operated on. Your body's not meant to have anything inserted, you know, a foreign object. Just it's meant to be the way it is. And when you get operated, you're gonna feel sore because you're being probed from here and there, and you're getting stitched here and there. And there's a machine. She got a laparoscopic surgery, and she has 7 holes. Supposed to be 6, but she had 7. The one she has here is because that's the one it's holding her stomach to her abdominal wall. Because, like I said, we just did a pull down. We did no wrap. We didn't do anything with that. And that's basically the normal thing. We decided to do that because it's a normal thing to do. That's the way the stomach is supposed to be. We don't want to do it. We didn't want to do the wrap. And even though there has been success rate for the wrap, don't get me wrong. When I read it, there's a 90% success rate when you do the fundo. But we just think she just didn't feel comfortable with the fundo because when you get to groups like Facebook and you hear the stories of people have there, you get aback and you kind of get scared and you're like, I don't want to do this operation. But I'm going to tell you my experience with living with a person who has gotten it. It's the difference between night and day. At the beginning, you're gonna suffer, but then as time goes by, and you eat that food. The other day, we went to IHOP and she enjoyed her whole breakfast. She was all happy, almost cried because she ate something that didn't hurt her body. Um, and as I'm reading more and more into Facebook, and I'm reading more people with hiatal hernia, and they ask, and doctors say, this is the hiatal hernia is too small. I I would wait. I would say that if you have the means, and this is just my advice, this is not medical advice, nothing like that. Um, if it was up to me and I had a hiatal hernia, and they go, "This 2 centimeters, then you got nothing to worry about." I like this, and no, no, no. If you can do it, I need you to do it. Not today, but I need you to do it as soon as possible. Because eventually, through time, that hernia is going that stomach is going to keep on protruding out. So it's just a matter of time. So there's no point of prolonging something that's going to, at the end of the 2, 3, or 4 years, I'm going to have to operate it on. And I have to suffer through all these things. So let's just get it over and done with now, being that it's just happening. And if he or she decides not to do it, then find some doctor who can do it or who's willing to do it. Yesterday, I read on Facebook where a person who lives in Texas, the doctors in Texas said no, they had to cross the border to get it done in Mexico. Well, that's a healthcare system, right? So I say, going through this experience with my wife, get it done as soon as possible. If you get a doctor that could do a lynx is just a band that goes around the sphincter, and then whenever you're eating your food and you swallow, it expands, and when the food just goes right through, it just goes back to its normal size. So this way, no acid or anything like that can go back out. Um, the only thing some more doctors worried about that is because they say it can erode inside your body with everything that goes inside your body. It could rust, or it could maybe they have to go back inside and then do it all over again. So they try to avoid that. But it's been a success in Europe, and but over in Europe they do it things different than they do here. So like I said before earlier on, each doctor has their preference. Has a preference and everything. And I'm gonna tell you this on my own, in my own experience. Those of you who know me know that I am HIV positive, right? And I'm going to show you something that's really, 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 really incredible. All right, so doctors push pills on you, and doctors want you to go on a certain regimen because these certain regimens work. But what they don't tell you is that they get paid for prescribing your medication. So okay, so these are my HIV meds, right? I got this one, which is TVK, with this one, which is Discovery, right? So they say this one cannot work without this one, and then this one cannot work with this one. So this one, the reason that I don't take this one is because this one has Truvada, and Truvada has been known to, in the long run, get bone loss, bone density, humps in the back. And I had Truvada, and I had Truvada for a while. I had Truvada for a while on another medication. So then I spoke to a friend of mine in Puerto Rico. She had gotten a hump in the back, it made her feel bad. She had the same two medications, and she just kept this one, the TVK. But like I said, one's not supposed to work without the other, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way they tell you this. This cannot work without this. This cannot work without that. But let me tell you something. I've been using just this alone for 3 years, and I know my body, so I don't suggest people should do this. Um, I go on binges where I don't take it like for a week and a half, because I've had it for so long that my body already has the HIV. So the other day I did my viral load, right? I did my CD4s. And CD4s, everyone has CD4s, and your CD4s is your cells that help, your T cell helpers that help you fight off bacteria or infections or whatever the case may be. The more CD4s you have, the quicker you can heal, whether from a scar or whatever the case may be. And what HIV does, HIV attacks those cells, and without those cells, your recuperation, your healing time takes longer, and you can get sick quicker. So that's what it does. So the HIV medication, what it does is that, because the HIV is different, HIV goes into the cell, right? and it replicates that cell. That it takes over that CD4 cell and it camouflages it as a CD4. So when another CD4 sees it, doesn't know anything about it, doesn't know it's a virus, so then it attaches itself, and when it attaches to that, then it multiplies. So what the medications does is that you got these receptors on your CD4s, so the HIV attaches itself to that receptor and takes over that cell. So what medication does that it covers the cap of that cell. So without, if you have no receptor, then it can't latch on. So it can't latch on. So it dies because without a host, it dies. And then what happens is that once these other C or others the other HIV cells take notice, they go into complete hiding. In other words, they turn themselves off and they hide in your lymph nodes and all that kind of stuff. So that's the medication is. That's what the medication is for. And a normal human being with the CD4s, it would be you would have a count of 1,500 to 1,800, depending on the laboratory. Each lab is different. So I'm going to show you. So I got my results yesterday, and I'm going to show you my result. My test result. These are my test result. You see right here where it says. Let's see if we can see it. My CD4 is 1,259, and my CD4 helpers are 49%. That means I have half. And this laboratory is doing 1,740, and I got 1,259. Mind you, one med's not supposed to work without the other. And this is why I tell you that doctors push you, because they get paid to give you a prescription. And when I call this company to tell them, listen, you don't need this medication to in order, your medication works fine, they never called me. So that's just that. So that's just see in my lymphos, like my counts. You see right there, my counts 2,568 out of 3,600. This count right here, last like a month, 2 months ago was at 800, which 800 is good too. You don't want to get this below 200. Because if you get that below 200, then they say you have AIDS, which is the same thing anyway. But you're more susceptible to getting more sicker than you normally would. So mine is it's normal. Just with one medication instead of these two medications that they want you to do. Then they gave me another medication because they wanted me to get off this one. I said, I'm not getting off this one. This is what makes me feel more comfortable. Like I said, I go a week and a half without taking my meds, and I've never received any symptoms. So that's what I'm telling you about the operation. Doctors are reluctant to do it because for whatever X, Y, Z reason, and then you say, I want to get this done. I want to get this over and done with. So let's start doing this now. Because you're gonna hit me with PPIs, you're gonna hit me with this, you're gonna hit me with that, you're gonna hit me with this, you're gonna hit me with that. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to get operated anyway. So why suffer 5, 10, 15 years for something that I can just do now? So if I got the money in my plan, my health insurance, and willing to pay for it, so let's do this. Or if you have the money, you have to go to another country and do it. Let's do this. The point is that you want to take care of it. I'm just saying this is not medical advice. It's just my own opinion. I would do it because I want to feel as comfortable as I can, as soon as I can. Not wait years. I don't want you pumping me or hitting me with so many medications. It's gonna damage you at the long run. A lot of people, because they regurgitate, the esophagus gets all tore up. That when you swallow, it hurts. It does. And sometimes you guys know that sometimes when you swallow, when you regurgitate, all you're regurgitating is yellowish liquid, and that's not good. That's acid. You're regurgitating acid, and that's not good. So talk to your doctor, get a second opinion. Like I said, I went with a thoracic surgeon. Look into a thoracic surgeon if you like. See what he or she says. Voice your opinion. Look for opinions. Don't let everything that you see on Facebook or anything else get you scared, because that's not a good way to go. You have something that's bothering you. You have something that's going to keep on bothering you, and you want to hear success stories. Yes, you do, but they're with every operation, there's going to be some downfalls. Every medication is going to be some downfalls. Everybody's body reacts different. You got to know that everybody's body reacts different. Just because this person's operation didn't go well, there's a lot of mitigating factors into that. It could be the doctors didn't do it well, the doctors didn't do the wrap well, the body didn't adjust to it well. Something maybe that person did that he or she did not know that she did, brought it back. There's a lot of factors to it. So don't let those factors, don't let those that negativity in a sense that because it's bad for that person, but don't let that experience that person have go over to you, and then you say, I don't want the operation because so many people, yeah, but look at that so many people that this has helped. Because a lot of people, when they go to these Facebook pages, they say, oh, I went to my operation, everything is good, I feel good, and they stop. They don't go on months and months and months and tell you this is what I'm going through, this is what I did, this. They don't give you a step by step, month through month, or 2 or 3 months later, to let you know that they're doing okay. They just stop at, I got operated, I feel great, and that's it. You don't hear from there again. But those people who have their experience, their experience stays on Facebook or whatever media you go to, outlet you go to. So always remember that every operation has its risk. Everybody's body is different. We're all not equipped the same. So what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. You gotta remember that. So you gotta think about you. Do your research. Do the doctor's research. Ask your doctor what's their success rate. How many people have come back to redo their surgery? You know, those are the things that you have to take. Go to a group of people who have had a surgery that have had success, and those who have not had success. You could be, if your operation is good, you could be a mentor to that person, because a lot of people get depressed, and you can help that person out. So just do your research. Don't stay stuck with one opinion. Don't go to multiple doctors if you need to, and because multiple doctors will give you different answers. And like I said, and doctors have their preference. So do that. Get yourself an array of doctors. Um, and like I said, in my opinion, if you could do it quickly, do it quickly. You're better off. And it's just, I fear for you people, because I don't feel the pain, but my wife does, and I don't like seeing my wife go through a lot of pain. And as a husband, I do what I can to ease her pain and to make her as comfortable as I possibly can. You know, sometimes I mess with her and I say, it's a mind thing. And she's like, stop that. It's not a mind thing. So with all that said and done, like I said, do your research. I'm going with it. Go with it with a positive mind. Yes, when you get operated, you're gonna get, before you get operated, you're gonna get scared. There's a lot of thoughts are gonna go through your mind, but at the long run, you're gonna feel so much better. It's gonna be the feeling is gonna be, you're gonna be full of joy, and follow the regimen of your doctor. And if you want to think outside the box and you think that it's going to help you, do it. But do not, and I emphasize this, do not overexert yourself. Don't say, oh, because I feel good, I can lift this up. Don't do that. Oh, if I could do this, I could. If I don't feel this, I could do this. Don't do that. Give that wound time to heal. If you gotta go if you gotta go months or a year or so without eating what you enjoy eating, or exercising the way that you want to exercise, then you got to do that for the benefit of you, because you want this to last a while. You want this to last as long as it's going to last, or you want to last forever. You don't want to go back under the knife, or get operated all over again, or have a takedown because your full wrap or your partial wrap did not work out for whatever X, Y, and Z reason. So just make sure that you don't overexert yourself. Make sure that you eat a lot of something. You eat a lot of you eat a lot of protein. Your body's going to need that protein to build up, and just have positive thoughts. When you're getting those panic attacks, when my heart is palpitating, put your mind somewhere else. look at TV, have someone talk to you, so you can that palpitation can go down. Yes, you're gonna have a feel that you're having a heart attack because that's the way it feels with the hiatal hernia. You go to the doctors, you go to the emergency room and says, no, you're not having a heart attack. It's just a hiatal hernia. So, you know, I'm not going to speculate how a heart attack feels, but it can be complicated. Hey, chicky boom. So if you, that's where you go to get your tumblers, your cups, your hats, and all that. Like I said, I'm going to put a description in below. So with that said, make sure that here you're doing positive thinking here. So this right here can also get positive thinking, and you can heal quicker, and you could go back to doing the normal things that you were normally doing. And like I said, do not overexert yourself. That's one of the things that my doctor said. That's one of the reasons most of these hernias come back because people overexert themselves, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be lifting up too quickly. You don't want to get up from a seat too quickly. There's a lot of things there's a lot of things that you do with your body that you're using this part of your body that you don't know of because you're unconsciously you don't know that. So just make sure that you keep this part of the body. They make sure that you keep this as loose as possible and as healthy as possible. You know, and if you got to go to a long stretch where you're not going to enjoy that when you enjoy this meal, but you know you can't, you want to do this exercise, but you know you can't. Just give it time. Give it time, and time heals all wounds. Just give it time. Yeah, that sounded like a Hallmark commercial, right? A Hallmark card. Give it time, and you're going to see that you're going to go back to enjoying the things that you do. You know, don't go around eating greasy food and stuff like that. But that's not going to help you out anyway. You know, it's not. It's not gonna. It's just gonna. I think it's gonna probably damage you. But don't. You know, try. You know, this is a good way to eat healthy food. It's a good way to maintain yourself healthy, maintain a good weight, um, and stuff like that. You know, you can have a normal life again, but to me, that normal life would be getting that operation as soon as possible instead of waiting in the long run or waiting for 2 or 3 years. Like I said, every doctor's different. Every doctor won't operate on you because they say, "Oh, this is too early. We can't do this," and blah 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 blah. But you're the master of your domain. You know your body the best, so you choose what's right for you. Um, like I said, try to get yourself second opinions or third opinions or whatever until you feel comfortable. Until you say, you know what, I feel comfortable. Get yourself a doctor that's going to sit down with you and explain to you, oh no, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. I mean, you got good doctors and you just got doctors that just want to operate. You get their money and that's it. You know, and sit down with that doctor and let that doctor tell you what's good or what he or she thinks. And I had a great doctor here in Greensboro, North Carolina. His name is Dr. Lightfoot. He was a great doctor, or he is a great doctor. He's in Cone Health. So if you're in the Triad area, I suggest that you go see him. Um, and he is a great thoracic surgeon. He was good. He was thorough. And when we did our first face to face, which was last week, sat with us for another 45 minutes. Even though he kept us waiting for an hour, but he was the only thoracic doctor there. So he had a lot of patients. So again, he saw my wife. He checked her out. Everything came out good. He said he reassured her that if anything happens, give him a call. If he says this, so far, a month and a half, a month and a week later after the operation, things have been going smooth. And like I said, my wife cried the other day because she actually had after IHOP, she had another she ate here at the house, and it went great. The pain has gone away. The only thing she has pain now is that little incision that she has here, and that's about it. You know, and be careful with the oxycodone because the oxycodone does give you a lot of constipation, and the constipation is painful. If you could, I said doctor, you could take Tylenol, whatever the case may be, but oxycodone it does give you a lot of constipation. So you gotta be careful with that. I know you don't want to be in pain. But you gotta be careful with that. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to everybody. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Don't forget, go to Chicky Boom Mart to get your tumblers, your hats, your shirts, your cups, your mugs, party party apparels. You know, there's an array of things that you will see in that page. And if you don't see it, ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. It's good to ask. When people say, I think this is a stupid question. There is no such thing as a stupid question. Stupid question is when you don't ask a question. That's a dumb question. Every question has an answer. Believe it or not, it may not be the answer that you want, but it has an answer. But with that being said, guys, thank you for watching King Geo Show. Hope you subscribe to my channel. Just hit that bell right there, and it'll notify you when I, King Geo, have uploaded a video. And share this video with other people so they can get reassured that having a hiatal hernia is not the end of the world. You could have a life again. Because I know how it is. Because I saw my wife go through hell. She lost 25 pounds because she wasn't eating. And watching her scream, cry, that made me feel good because something's going our way. For how long, we don't know. We hope it's forever. For how long it's going to be now, we don't know. But we're just going with the ride. We're going with the flow. And we're trying to do everything that we can to again. And with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching my channel. God bless you. And Jackie, thank you for being there. Thank you, Chicky Boomar.